The bad news is Just Cause June has come to an end. But the good news is we're ending it off with a bang, and one of my favorite videos because I get to talk about some of my favorite things. In this month's short and sweet closure, we're talking about my top 5 favorite items that were seen in Operation Just Cause. Now, we've gone through a ton of the history about all of the units, talking about generally what happened, and showing you guys how to make something beautiful like this. So don't worry, I'm not going to be including this in it. But the next 5 that I'm going to show you are some of my favorites that are either kind of unique or have cool users, or absolutely unobtainium, and that's why you gotta stick around to find out. On the ending of Just Cause June, I'm The.Gear.Locker, let's get into it. Number 5 is something that I wasn't expecting to own. In fact, when I was first researching the kits, this was one of the pieces that I said to myself, I'm gonna hold off because of how ridiculously expensive those are for just a simple bayonet. And that's right, the M9 Frobus bayonet is my number 5 item. For Operation Just Cause, these were issued to the upper tier units. You see guys like the 82nd, and the Rangers have them, as we discussed in 2 of the previous videos. Whereas a lot of the other units that were there still held on to their M7 bayonets. These are a little bit more gnarly. Not only do they come with a sharpening stone, which mine is missing, and in fact, that's why I bought this, because I got a good deal on it, but it came with a pocket up front and a belt clip attachment here. The blade is very aggressive, with serrations on the rear, and really has all the features of a modern bayonet, what you'd really expect to see. Prior to that, it was just an M7, which was just a simple blade on one and half the other side. This is a knife. You'd see Rambo running around with this, not an M7. And again, these were seen with many units and really was one of the first major operations that they showed up in. They can be expensive, but if you wait for a deal, you can get them for under 200. I still don't understand why. There's actually, I know for a fact, tons of these in army stockpiles. We'll see when or if they ever get released. Now, the next item I want to talk to you about is something that I have a substitute for, not the original, because of how much of a unicorn it is. I know of a couple people that do own them, and this goes to the Delta side of things. C Squadron uses a bunch of cool gear, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of it later in this video, but one picture has one pack, and I love that thing, and I'd love to get my hands on it, and that is the Low Alpine LCS-84 Experimental Assault Pack. Really just the top flap to a rucksack that Low Alpine produced that gave way to the CFP-90s, which is exactly what I have here. I have a CFP-90 top assault pack portion. Now again, this part was part of the lid system for the full CFP-90 rucksack, but it is very similar in construction. Very minor differences, and granted, this one is in a faded woodland, whereas the LCS-84 was all OD green, but they're really cool pieces. These are almost a dime a dozen. I think I got this for 40 bucks, which even that was a little much. But if you have one of these in OD green, let me know. I believe it's one of Paul Howe's guys. I can't recall exactly, so let me know in the comments below. But it is just a really cool assault pack, and you don't see that really too commonly in that time frame. Of course, it would be Delta spearheading the way with assault things. And now let's get to the number 3, and this is the RDF uniforms. For my big camo history nerds out there, my friends and fans who watch uniform history, you know that ERDL was a very cool camouflage pattern that came out in use with the US military in the Vietnam era time frame. But there was so much fabric left over post-war, and modifications to the uniform led to the RDF, which really was the Rapid Division Forces naming. While most of them got phased out in the 1970s, it is very, very surprising to see them in use still with units like the 82nd Airborne all the way to Operation Just Cause, 1989 to 1990. It is a huge rarity in my opinion, and something that I would love to get my hands on because they're still pretty inexpensive. I just gotta find one in my size. A really cool piece that you wouldn't expect to see show up all the way that late, which is kind of similar to the M56 gear. I know army units keep things and reuse them until fibers break down. It's weird to see such old gear in the late 80s. Okay, for my Delta fans, here's the number 2 item, the one that I am very excited to have, and I'm gonna kind of cheat with this one. We know that Delta Force did take part in Operation Just Cause, but one particular Delta helmet style is more seen with A Squadron and Acid Gambit, which was the precursor in Delta's operation prior to Just Cause popping off. And this is the ProTech helmet. Now again, with C Squadron, you see a lot of the half-cut ones. The ones that I've done a video on, and I will continue to do more. I'm very excited, especially with this guy. We've got more coming for you Delta fans. But this helmet is originally in all black. It is a size small, but it fits my melon head just fine. I'm usually a size large. And I think that's because the padding is all worn out. But this was very commonly seen along with Pasget helmets painted black with Delta Force in Operation Acid Gambit. Now, something that you've been lied to about is the color of the foam. This is gray foam, and believe it or not, that was actually seen, but primarily with the full cut helmets here. There's still a little bit of white in the far top. It's strange, but side by side, you will see white and gray foam used by Delta in Operation Acid Gambit in 1989. So it's a little strange because we typically associate the gray foam with the mid to late 90s. So I'm very happy to have this piece in my collection. Look at that, even the donut hole rivets. Beautiful. And we are going to be kitting this thing out. You guys cannot miss the helmet build I'm going to be doing with this. Stay tuned. Probably going to happen in a month or two. But okay, and now let's jump on to my number one thing, something I was so surprised to see in reference photos in Operation Just Cause. And before you click off, I don't have one in hand. I don't even have a substitute. And I really should, given some of the impressions I do. But this is an H&K MP5 SD3. That's right, there are photos of US Army Rangers carrying this MP5 in Operation Just Cause. Definitely in upper leadership roles. But this comes from a reference photo album from Chuck. He was part of 375th Rangers, I believe A Company. And if you want to know exactly what they did, go check out that video that I did. But to see this show up with the Rangers is really freaking cool. It would blow my mind if I saw it with any lower tier unit, like the 82nd or 7th ID. So for the Rangers, I guess I could see it, but I didn't really know that the Army was issuing these out at that time. So a super cool piece, and there's, I'm sure, plenty more. So I want you to leave in the comments what gear pieces from Operation Just Cause, or even the general 80s that you love to see, and something that blows your mind when it pops up. Thank you guys for a fantastic Just Cause June. Don't forget to hit that like button. I appreciate all the support and engagement you guys give me. This is the Gear Locker. See you guys in the next one for a Roast Your Kit video. All right, please, for the love of Cheez-It, do not say that I ran out of space. Yes!